Well, I actually don't think of spirituality and social justice as two separate things. I think that what we really try and do intentionally here at San Francisco Theological Seminary is to integrate the two, so that our spiritual life, our life of prayer and our life of worship, nourish and feed our life of activism, our work in the world for justice and for healing and for peace. And then our work for justice, healing, and peace informs our life of worship. So they're not two separate things. Our life of work flows into our life of worship, which flows into our life of work. One whole life. We worship here 4 times a week. Each day's worship has a different sense to it, a different thing that we're doing, but we often focus on justice issues, so that we have had worship services here that have focused on the situation with the Oromo people who are oppressed in Ethiopia and standing for justice. And we actually did the symbol that you may have seen from the Olympics, and then we tweeted that, and it went all over the world and all over Ethiopia, and people, I think, were really encouraged by that. We've also done worship services that speak out for LGBTQ inclusion. We have done worship services that help us to think about violence against women and creating safe spaces. But most of all, we're thinking about worship that somehow relates to work and activism that our students are actually doing in the world. And those are actually some of the best and most meaningful worship service, where it's based on and flows out of a student's passion, or the passion that a group of students has for a particular issue, for a particular cause. And I think that way we're really living out what it means to be representatives of the gospel of Jesus Christ in and for the world God loves. So we have a number of student groups on campus that are formed specifically to support student activism in particular issues. So we have the Students of the African Diaspora, which is a student group that's intended to support students who are African American or from Africa, and also think about racial justice issues and our work to fight racism. We have the Feminist Perspectives Group, which looks at women's issues. They've done a couple of productions of the Vagina Monologues here on campus to raise awareness about violence against women. And then we have SFTS Welcome, which is a group that's formed around supporting our students' advocacy work for the full inclusion of lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and queer folks, not only within the church, but within the society as a whole. And so then you see our students going out and, according to what their calling for ministry is and for what their passion is, coming up with their own ministries and engaging in communities and organizations that are working on those justice issues. And we try as a community to support that, to include it in our worship life and in our prayer life, and with all of the course offerings at the schools across the Graduate Theological Union. There are plenty of opportunities for students to then plug into and learn about particular areas that are of interest to them. All focused on how they're discerning their call to be of service in the world.